Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? I hope all of you are doing fine. Alhamdulillah, I am also fine. This is Shumona Islam, lecturer, Department of English. Today I will be dealing with tag questions or question tags. So, question tags are short form of questions that are used after a statement or a sentence, and basically it is used in spoken language, and frequently we use these question tags while we speak, and it is actually used to get an assurance about any information or confirmation. It's a kind of confirmation, you can say, and there are some basic rules that we need to follow while using tag question. So, it is very important to remember the rules of tag question. So, let us start our class. Basic rules to remember. The first one is follow the subject. I have written number in bracket. That means subject, is it singular or plural in number? You have to follow that. And next is watch the tense of the verb. Very important. You have to follow the verb, the tense, the form of the verb in the sentence. Okay. And next is affirmative statement takes a negative question tag. For affirmative or positive sentence, that means if there is no negative word like not, no, never, don't, in that case you have to use affirmative tag. Then negative statement is followed by an affirmative or positive tag. So, for negative statement or negative sentence, we need to use an affirmative tag. Next is always use the pronoun in question tag. Very important. See the example. We have used the pronoun form of the subject. That means it's already in the pronoun form is given. If you find any proper noun, in that case, if the person's name was here, suppose if it was Sheila was busy, in that case you have to use wasn't she. Okay. So, we have to use the pronoun form of the subject while making tag question, right. Next is you have to use the contracted form in negative question tag. So, while we are using, again see the example, wasn't, we have used the contracted form. This is the contracted form when we are removing or omitting O and using apostrophe. This is called contracted form. So, when we are making negative tag, in that case we have to make it in contracted form. Next is the statement a command or a request? So, you have to see the kind of the sentence or the pattern of the sentence. If it is first of all, we have learned that if it is an affirmative sentence, negative tag. In case of negative statement, affirmative tag. But when it is an imperative sentence, that means when it is starting with any verb, or if you find any kind of request or proposal, in that case the rules are completely different. See the examples. Do the task sincerely, will you? So, this sentence suggests command. So, when the sentence is suggesting command, in that case you have to use will you. Okay. Next one is please give me a pen. This is a kind of request. So, in case of request you have to use won't you. This is a polite expression. So, we have to use won't you in case of polite expression or request. Next is let's or let us help the poor, shall we? So, in case of let us or let's, we have to use shall we. We do not need to see the tense of the sentence or the verb form of the sentence, nothing. We have to just use shall we. Okay. These are the exceptions for imperative sentence. So, what you have to do is you have to learn the contracted forms as well, and the exceptions in tag question are the most critical part. It seems very easy while reading these basic rules, but when you will go for exceptions, it's a little difficult. Okay, let's see the exceptions. Okay, now I will discuss the exceptional rules with the examples. The examples will help you to understand the rules easily. So the first one is I am ready, aren't I? So in case of am, we are going to use aren't for making tag question, and we are not using ain't, because in modern English ain't is not preferred, and this is the thing that is commonly used, that is aren't. So in case of I am, the tag is aren't, and in case of I am not, in that case you can use am I. Okay. Next one is she seldom visits her parents, does she? So what is the negative thing here? Seldom is a negative word. Remember, seldom is a negative word, and that's why we are using the tag as affirmative. And next one is everybody believes an honest man, don't they? So everybody, in case of everybody, and if you find a s with the verb, the tag will be don't they. Okay, remember it. For everybody, anybody, somebody, everyone, someone, anyone, we are going to use they as pronoun. Next one, every man should have an aim in life. Here we are using shouldn't they, as there is an auxiliary modal, so we are using that modal auxiliary as in the tag question. Okay. And next one is he along with his friends went for a walk, didn't he? He. So in case of along with, there are some words like with, along with, together with, accompanied by. These words, when you find these words, they contain two subjects and you have to take the first subject, and mostly you will get a past tense of the verb here to make you confused. So remember this, the tag will be done by the first pronoun, okay, the first one. And next one is either of the girls is responsible, aren't they? Again another exception, either of the girls is, this is a singular verb, but we are using the plural form of the pronoun girls. We are using they as pronoun in tag question. And then neither of the men was present, were they? Neither is a negative word, so we are using affirmative tag. Again, someone has stolen my umbrella, haven't they? Someone has. So I have told earlier that in case of everybody, everyone, somebody, someone, we are going to use they as pronoun. So this is the exception. Next is if it rains, I will not go, will I? See, this is a complex sentence. In case of complex sentence, what you have to do is you have to make the tag question by using or following the main clause or principal clause, not the subordinate clause. And how you will understand which one is the main clause? And the clue is the conjunction. The clause that is followed by a conjunction is called a subordinate clause, and the clause that does not have any conjunction in the beginning, that is the main clause. So you have to make the tag question by using the main clause. Okay. Next one, people say that misfortune never comes alone. See very carefully. This is also a complex sentence. Here, which one is the main verb, main clause? People said that, this is the subordinate clause, and misfortune never comes alone is the main clause. So when you find that the main clause, you will understand that the next clause is the main clause. So, you have to make the tag question using this main clause, that is, as this is a negative sentence and there is no auxiliary and the verb has s. So, we have used does, and misfortune is a idea or thing. So, we have used it as pronoun. So, these are some of the exceptions. Let us move to some more exceptions. Well, my dear students, see the next exceptional rules. Next is, that is a huge building. That is, in case of this, that the pronoun will be it if it is suggesting any object, like that is a huge building, isn't it? Then this boy is very hard working, isn't he? Boy is a person in the, so we are using he as the pronoun. Then these books are interesting, aren't they? These books are interesting, aren't. Obviously, it is an affirmative sentence. The auxiliary is given are. So, aren't. These books suggest plural subject. That is why the pronoun is they. Okay. Next one is an exclamatory sentence. How beautiful the palace is, isn't it? So, we have to take the auxiliary and the subject that is given in the sentence, isn't it? Then Noel's going to market. See, Noel, that means Noel is, it is a contracted form, apostrophe s. Noel is going to market to get some goods. So, the tag will be isn't he, okay, because the main verb here is. I'd like to do it, I would like to do it, wouldn't I? So, this apostrophe d suggests would. How can you understand that it is would? Because see the next sentence we have also used apostrophe d. So, what you have to do is to see the verb next to it. I would like, when the verb is in base form, that means verb 1, in that case it is obviously a modal, would. Okay. So, we have used wouldn't I? Next is he had finished the task on time. Hadn't he? He had finished. See, the verb form is in past participle form. When you find past participle form of the verb, in that case you will easily understand that this is had. Okay. So, the tag is made by using hadn't he. Next is I need a reference book. You know, need is considered as a modal when need is the main verb here. In that case you have to use don't, do, does, did as auxiliary. So, don't I, okay, according to the tense. Then next is you need not visit him, need not. When you get need not, in that case you have to use need as making tag question, need for making tag question, that is need you. Next is there was an orphan boy. There was, if you find there or it is, there is, in that case the tag will be wasn't there or was it, is it, okay. So, you have to use there or it in the place of pronoun. Well, my dear students, don't get bored. This is the last item that I am going to discuss. That is, not only Rana but also his brothers love football. In case of not only but also, you have to take the second subject, that means the verb subject that is near to the verb. So, it is his brothers. So, we have used don't they, as there is no auxiliary. In that case we have to use do, does, did according to the tense. So, we have used don't and his brothers is plural. So, we have used they as pronoun. Then both Abir and Asif have arrived. Both and, in case of both and, same rule, haven't they. So, both Abir and Asif have, the verb is given have, so we are using this auxiliary to make the tag question. Then half of the oil is used. So here isn't it, the verb is already given, that is singular verb. For abstract noun we know that for abstract noun or uncountable noun we use it as pronoun. And then 1/4 of the books were sold. So obviously it's a plural sentence, subject is plural, so we are using weren't they. Then it is I who am your teacher. It is I who am. When relative clause is given and if you find it is I or it is you, it is he, in that case you have to make the find out the main clause to make the tag question. That is, I have earlier told that for I am the tag question is aren't I. So the same rule will be applied here, that is aren't I. Next one is it is you who did the sum. So this is the subject and this is the verb. So the question tag is didn't you. Okay. Next, he has to work for several hours. In case of has to, had to, we have to use do, does, did as tag question. Okay. So the tag is doesn't he. Okay. As this is present tense, that's why, and it is a third person singular number, we are using does. Next, I had to lend money. This is a past form of the sentence, so we have used didn't. Had to is in past form, so we have used didn't, then I as pronoun. So these are the rules that you need to remember while answering tag questions. I think these rules will help you to answer all the questions correctly. The most important thing is you have to follow the verb and the subject in answering tag question. If you find the verb form easily, that is it in present form or past form, that is very important. And then is the subject singular or plural. When there are two subjects, in that case you have to find out which subject you will take. I have already discussed. And then in case of modals, what to do in case of everybody, everyone, nobody, no one, nothing, and the negative words like seldom, hardly, few, little, the affirmative tags will be used. These things will help you to answer tag question easily. Okay, and don't forget to use comma after this statement, and you have to underline the tag question and use the question mark. That is also important. So this is all about today. I hope all of you will enjoy today's class and practice at home properly. Stay home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.